Ryan's office revenge.
You're obsolete, old man. Company cards canceled. Figure out your own way home. I read Spencer's text 3 times, standing in that Munich hotel lobby. My pressure gauge clicked in my pocket as I shifted weight from one foot to the other. The marble floor felt more solid than anything else in my life right then. My name is Wesley Pierce. I'm 48 years old, and I've been calibrating systems that other people break for 25 years. Standing there with $60 cash and a text message that basically said I was worthless. I could hear the hotel's HVAC system cycling through its optimization routine. Perfect intervals, precise timing, unlike the people who run companies. Let me back up and tell you how I ended up 4,000 miles from home, holding pocket change and reading the most expensive text message I'd ever received. I started at Titan Industrial 25 years ago, right out of engineering school. Back then, the company actually understood what they manufactured. CNC machining centers, robotic assembly systems, servo-controlled automation lines, the kind of equipment that keeps factories running to micron tolerances. I was good at it, really good. I could listen to a servo motor running and tell you which encoder was drifting, which belt tension needed adjustment, which control algorithm was losing calibration. The job paid enough to buy a house, marry my college girlfriend Sarah, have a daughter. Brooke's 16 now, getting ready for SAT prep. Wants to study mechanical engineering at MIT. Smart kid, takes after her old man with the technical stuff, but she's got better social calibration protocols. Sarah and I divorced 8 years ago. She said I cared more about calibrating machines than calibrating our relationship. Maybe she was right. But when Brooke asked if she could stay with me instead of moving to Phoenix with her mom's new husband, I knew I'd optimized something correctly along the way. Spencer Walsh became my division manager 3 years ago. He's 42, Harvard MBA, wears suits that cost more than my monthly mortgage payment. Spencer got promoted to head our precision systems division without ever reading a technical specification or understanding tolerance stack-up calculations. That's the new operational model, I guess. Financial metrics matter more than understanding how things actually function. Spencer liked to remind me that my methods were outdated. You need to think strategically, Wesley, he'd say when I explained why we needed specific suppliers for critical servo components. The market's evolving. We can't keep doing business like it's 1995. I'd check my pressure gauge and nod. What else could I do? Brooke's MIT tuition was going to run $75,000 a year. I needed that job. 2 months ago, Spencer called me into his office. We've got a problem, he said. Our German supplier, the one who provides all our precision servo systems, they're threatening to terminate our partnership. Maxwell Fischer runs Fischer Precision Manufacturing in Bavaria. His grandfather started the company in 1952 building measurement instruments for BMW. I've been working with Maxwell for 20 years. Ever since I was a junior systems engineer, we built something together over 2 decades. Trust, technical understanding, mutual respect for what the other person brings to the engineering equation. Why are they terminating? I asked Spencer. How should I know? You're the one who interfaces with these people. These people, like Maxwell and his family, were interchangeable components in Spencer's supply chain optimization spreadsheet. I'll calibrate the situation, I said. I called Maxwell that afternoon. Wesley, he said when he heard my voice, I was hoping you would call. We have concerns about the new operational parameters. Tell me. Your new management, Maxwell said carefully. They treat us like vendors in a commodity market, not partners in precision manufacturing. Last month, they wanted to reduce our specifications by 3% to save costs. This month, they want faster delivery cycles without additional resources. They never ask if these parameters are achievable. They just demand compliance. I understand, I said. Let me see what I can engineer. I spent the next week putting together a proposal, better payment terms, realistic delivery schedules, a 2-year contract guarantee so Maxwell could plan his workforce capacity, technical specifications that made sense for both systems, engineering solutions, not just financial optimizations. Spencer barely looked at it. Just go there, he said. Go to Munich and fix this. Make them compliant. That's what we pay you for. When? Next week? 3 weeks? Maybe a month? However long it takes to restore system functionality. My chest pressure spiked. That's extended deployment time. Brooke's got SAT prep starting. Your daughter's got family, doesn't she? Support systems. Figure it out, Wesley. This is your primary function. Brooke's eyes filled when I told her the night before I left. She held onto my arm and said, "Don't go, Dad. Please don't go." I knelt down and looked at her face, so much like her mother's but with my stubborn engineering logic behind those eyes. I have to go optimize some business relationships, kiddo. Just for a little while, Aunt Paige will maintain system operations here. But it's junior year. This is critical path timing. I know. I'll be back before your next practice SAT. I promise. I didn't keep that promise. I arrived in Munich on a Tuesday. The city operated like a well-calibrated machine, clean, efficient, everything running on schedule. I took a taxi to the hotel Spencer's assistant had booked. Nothing fancy, but adequate specifications. German engineering applied to hospitality. Maxwell's facility wasn't in the city. I took a regional train for 45 minutes to reach it. The building was old but perfectly maintained. Inside, technicians were machining components to tolerances measured in hundredths of millimeters. The sound was beautiful, precise, controlled, every spindle synchronized, every feed rate optimized. Maxwell Fisher is 61 years old with gray hair and hands that have been working with precision instruments for 40 years. His wife Greta manages the business operations side. She brought me coffee and pastries while we talked business parameters. Tell me what system requirements you need, Maxwell said. I need you to maintain our partnership protocol, I said. But I also need to understand what's causing the operational friction. We talked for hours that first day. About specifications, about delivery algorithms, about respect. That last parameter kept coming up in our discussion. Your boss, Maxwell said carefully. He interfaces with us like we are malfunctioning components that need replacement. I know, I said. He processes me the same way. Greta looked at me with something like understanding. Then why do you maintain this operational relationship? Because I have a daughter who wants to study at MIT, I said. She nodded. She understood the system requirements. Over the next 2 weeks, I built something with Maxwell and Greta. Not just a contract. A real engineering partnership. We calculated specifications that worked for everyone. I explained what Titan needed for their automation systems. He explained what his technicians could actually manufacture within realistic tolerances. We found the optimal solution. Maxwell started insisting on something unusual. I want you to be the technical liaison for this contract, he said. Not your boss, not anyone else, you. I'm not the primary decision maker, I said. I'm just the senior specialist. Then we make you the primary interface for this relationship, he said firmly. Every technical decision routes through you. Every specification change must be approved by you. Otherwise, we don't maintain operations with Titan anymore. I didn't understand the logic at the time. Later, I realized Maxwell saw something I couldn't calibrate yet. He saw that Spencer was using my expertise, taking credit for my technical relationships, and treating me like a replaceable component. Maxwell wanted to protect what we were building. Back home, Spencer would message me at irregular intervals. Where are we with the contract parameters? When is it executed? What's causing these delays? I'd explain that precision engineering requires proper development cycles, that rushing would compromise quality specifications and damage long-term relationships. He'd respond with messages like, I don't need process explanations. I need results. Once Spencer insisted on joining one of my video conferences with Maxwell. It was a complete system failure. Spencer interrupted constantly. Made jokes about German over-engineering, treated Maxwell like he was wasting our operational time. After Spencer disconnected from the call, Maxwell said to me, that man doesn't respect technical expertise. I'm sorry, I said. Don't apologize for his malfunction. Maxwell said, you are not operating on his protocols. Brooks' practice SAT came and went. I sent her a good luck message. My sister Paige told me she scored 1480, nearly perfect calibration. She just wants you home, Dad. Paige said over the phone. I know, I whispered. Soon. Finally, after 3 weeks, we had everything optimized. A complete partnership agreement, terms that made engineering sense. A contract that would bring Titan $8 million worth of precision components over 2 years. Enough servo systems and CNC controllers to fill their entire automotive production line and beyond. Maxwell's family would prosper. Titan would have exclusive access to some of the finest precision manufacturing in Europe. Everyone would achieve optimal performance. The contract execution was scheduled for a Thursday morning. Maxwell wanted to do it properly, with his whole family present. He treated it like it meant something. I was proud of what I'd engineered. For once in 25 years, I felt like I'd accomplished something bigger than just maintaining existing systems. That Wednesday evening, I was in the hotel lobby checking my technical specifications one final time when my phone buzzed. Spencer's message appeared on the screen. "You're obsolete, old man. Company cards canceled. Figure out your own way home." My pressure gauge clicked rapidly. I checked it. Normal reading, but nothing else was operating normally. I read the message again, then again. No explanation, no warning protocols, just those words. I checked my company card. He wasn't lying. Canceled. I had $60 cash. My return flight was booked using company travel systems. I didn't know if that was terminated too. I was stranded in Germany after 3 weeks of engineering work, after missing Brooke's SAT prep, after eating cheap hotel food to save company money, after taking trains instead of taxis and working 12-hour days to make this partnership function. And Spencer called me obsolete. My fingers typed automatically. "Thank you for letting me know. I didn't know what else to transmit." I sat in that lobby for maybe an hour. Hotel guests walked past speaking German and dragging their luggage and living their normal lives while mine was experiencing total system failure. I kept thinking about Brooke. How would I get home to her? Would I have to ask Paige to wire transfer money? The humiliation of that felt almost as bad as Spencer's text. Then something shifted in my internal processes. Not anger exactly, something colder, more precise. Like when a machine finally reaches optimal operating temperature after a long warm-up cycle. I looked at my briefcase. Inside was the unsigned partnership agreement. The one worth $8 million. The one that would save Titan's entire automotive division. The one Maxwell refused to execute with anyone except me. I stood up. I walked out of that hotel. I found my way to the train station and rode back to Maxwell's facility one more time. It was dark by the time I reached the facility. The lights were still on inside. Maxwell and Greta were finishing paperwork for the next day's contract execution. They looked surprised when I walked in. "Wesley," Maxwell said, "is everything operating correctly?" My pressure gauge clicked twice. "They terminated my employment," I said. The words came out flat. "Technical. My boss sent a message this evening, said I was obsolete, canceled my company authorization, told me to find my own way home." Greta's hand went to her mouth. Maxwell's face went hard. "After everything," he said quietly, "after 3 weeks, after you engineered such perfect specifications. Yes. Where will you maintain operations tonight? The hotel? I have cash for maybe 2 more nights, then I'll optimize something else." Maxwell exchanged a look with his wife. One of those conversations married people can have without verbal communication protocols. Then he turned back to me. "The contract execution tomorrow," he said. "What do you want to do?" That's when I realized something. Maxwell wasn't asking if the execution would happen. He was asking what I wanted to happen. "What do you mean?" "This agreement," he said, pointing to the papers on his workbench. "It specifies you as the technical liaison. You are the approval authority. Titan must interface through you to access our components. That's what we engineered into the contract, but I don't maintain employment there anymore." "Exactly," Maxwell said. "So why would I execute with them?" The weight of what he was saying hit me slowly. The agreement wasn't just paperwork. It was legally binding engineering protocol. Maxwell had insisted on language that made me the required technical authority for the entire partnership. Without me, there was no operational interface. "They'll send someone else," I said. "They'll try to renegotiate the parameters." "Let them try," Maxwell said. "I won't interface with them. My family won't interface with them. We built this relationship with you, not with that man who calls you obsolete. You? But what about Precision Dynamics?" I asked. "The company that contacted you last year?" Maxwell smiled. It wasn't a happy smile. It was something else, something sharp. "Quinn Sterling. Yes. They've been calling us for 18 months, offering better terms, better respect for our technical capabilities. We always said no because we had an understanding with Titan." But now he shrugged. "Now Titan has broken that understanding. You'd really walk away from $8 million? The money isn't walking away." Greta said gently, "It's just walking to someone else. Someone who treats engineering expertise properly." Something loosened in my chest, something that had been overpressurized for years. "There's something else," Maxwell said. "Quinn Sterling asked us last month if we knew anyone who could coordinate their international technical procurement. Someone who understands precision systems and supplier relationships, someone with proven connections." He paused. "I have someone in mind now. He met me." "I can't," I said automatically. "I need to get home. I need to find another job. I need stable operations." "You need to stop letting people treat your expertise like it's worthless," Maxwell said firmly. This man, your boss, he throws you away like a defective component after you built something valuable for him. And you want to rush home and find another person who will execute the same operational protocol. I have a daughter, I said. She wants to study at MIT. I can't take risks. This isn't a risk, Greta said. This is you taking what you've earned. You built this relationship. You did the engineering work. Why should they benefit from it? I looked at the unsigned agreement in my hands. 3 weeks of my life, 3 weeks away from Brooke. All those conversations, all those specifications, all that trust I'd calibrated, and Spencer had called me obsolete. What would I need to do? I asked quietly. Maxwell's expression softened. Tonight, nothing. Stay here. We have a guest room upstairs. Tomorrow morning, I'll call Quinn Sterling. I'll tell them Titan is no longer an option. I'll introduce them to you. Then I'll call your old boss and tell him there will be no contract execution. He'll be furious. Good, Maxwell said simply. I stayed in their guest room that night. It was small and clean, with a bed that felt like sleeping on a precision-calibrated surface compared to the hotel. Greta brought me tea and sandwiches. She sat with me while I ate. My father used to say something, she told me. When someone shows you their true specifications, believe them the first time. Your boss showed you his specifications. Don't give him a second chance to prove them again. I thought about that all night. About all the times Spencer had shown me exactly who he was, and how I'd ignored it because I needed the job, because I was scared, because I thought I didn't have alternative operational parameters. The next morning, Maxwell made his calls. First, he called Quinn Sterling at Precision Dynamics. I could only hear his side of the conversation. Yes, this is Maxwell Fisher from Fisher Precision Manufacturing. We spoke last year about a partnership. Is that still something you're interested in? Good. I have someone you should meet. He's brilliant. He's the reason Titan wanted to work with us. Now he's available. Then he called Spencer. I sat there in Maxwell's workshop while he put the phone on speaker. My pressure gauge was clicking rapidly, but I kept my face controlled. Spencer answered on the second ring. Maxwell, finally. I've been trying to reach you. Are we all set for this morning's execution? No, Maxwell said. We're not all set.
Silence. What do you mean? Spencer's voice changed, got harder. I mean, there will be no signing, no agreement.
Fisher Precision will not be working with Titan Industrial. Is this about money? Because we can optimize the financial parameters? This is about respect. Maxwell interrupted. Something you don't understand how to calibrate. Now wait a minute. I don't know what Wesley told you, but he told me you fired him. Maxwell interrupted again, after he spent 3 weeks here building something good. After he worked with more precision than anyone I've seen, you threw him away like he means nothing. That's an internal company matter, Spencer said. His voice was tight now. Controlled, it has nothing to do with our business arrangement. It has everything to do with it, Maxwell said. Wesley was our arrangement. We negotiated with him. We trust him. We don't trust you, so there is no arrangement. You can't do this. We have a verbal agreement. We have specifications. We have nothing, Maxwell said. And now I'm going to work with Precision Dynamics instead. They've been asking us for 18 months. We said no because we were loyal to Titan, but Titan wasn't loyal to the person who made this possible. So goodbye. Wait, Maxwell hung up. I just stared at him. My heart was beating so fast I thought it might throw off my internal calibration systems. Did you just... I started. Did you really? Yes, Maxwell said calmly. I did. Now let's talk about your new job. Precision Dynamics wanted to meet me that afternoon. Maxwell arranged everything. They sent a car, an actual car with a driver. I'd been taking trains for 3 weeks. Quinn Sterling met me at their headquarters in downtown Munich. Modern building, clean lines, everything optimized for efficiency. Quinn was maybe 45 sharp suit, but her handshake had the grip of someone who understood precision instruments. Maxwell speaks very highly of your technical expertise, she said after we shook hands. Tell me about your operational background, I told her. Not the professional resume version, the real version. About Brooke, about working at Titan for 25 years, about building relationships with suppliers because I actually understood what they manufactured, about being stranded yesterday and yet being here today instead of on a plane home. And why is that? She asked. Because Maxwell made me realize something. I said, I'm good at what I do, really good, and I'm tired of people who can't calibrate that. Quinn smiled. Maxwell said, you engineered an $8 million partnership. Is that accurate? Yes. Can you do that again for us? Yes, I said, and I meant it. Then let's talk about what you need, Quinn said. Salary, travel arrangements, flexible schedule, because you have a daughter. All of it. Tell me what would make this work for you. No one had ever asked me that before. What I needed, what would make things work for me. I told her about needing to be home for Brooke, about wanting fair compensation for expertise earned over 25 years, about needing respect and trust, about wanting to build something that mattered. Done, Quinn said. All of it. When can you start? I need to get home first. I said, see my daughter, explain what's happening. Then I can come back. We'll arrange your flight today if you want. When you're ready to return, we'll cover everything. Housing, transportation, whatever you need. I left that meeting feeling like I'd stepped into someone else's life. Someone who got treated like their expertise mattered. My phone started ringing that evening. Spencer over and over. I didn't answer. Then he started texting. What did you tell Maxwell? You sabotaged us. This is illegal. You'll hear from our lawyers. You're destroying the company. How can you be so selfish? I deleted each message without reading them fully. Then he tried a different approach. Wesley, please, let's talk about this. Maybe I was too harsh yesterday. We can work something out. Come back and we'll fix this. I blocked his number. The next morning, Maxwell drove me to the airport himself. He'd paid for my ticket. Wouldn't let me refuse. You earned this, he said at the departure gate. You earned respect. You earned trust. You earned a good job. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Thank you, I said. It felt insufficient. Those 2 words couldn't hold everything I was feeling. Go see your daughter, he smiled. Then come back and help us build something better. The flight home was the longest 11 hours of my life. I kept thinking about Brooke, about explaining why I'd been gone for her SAT prep, about telling her things were going to be different now. Paige picked me up from the airport. One look at my face and she asked, what happened? I told her everything in the car. She kept glancing at me while driving like she was checking if I was real. So she said slowly, you just walked away and now you have a better job? I didn't walk away, I said. They threw me away. I just made sure they couldn't benefit from the pieces. Brooke was doing homework when I got home. I went to her room and knocked on the door frame. She looked up from her calculus and her face went wide. Dad, she threw her arms around my neck and I held her tight enough that she squeaked. You're home, she said into my shoulder. I'm home, kiddo, and I'm never going to be away that long again. I promise. You promised you'd be back for my practice SAT, she said quietly. I know, I'm sorry. I broke that promise, but I'm gonna keep this one. She pulled back and looked at my face. You look different, Dad. More calibrated. I'm better than calibrated, I said. Everything's going to be better now. That weekend, Titan Industrial tried to reach me through other channels. Someone from HR sent me a message. Spencer would like to speak with you about reconsidering your position. We're prepared to offer increased compensation. I wrote back, I don't have a position to reconsider. I was fired via text message while overseas. Please don't contact me again. They tried twice more. Different people, same message. I ignored them all. 2 weeks later, I was back in Munich. This time, Precision Dynamics arranged everything. A decent apartment near Maxwell's facility, a company car so I wouldn't need trains, a schedule that let me fly home every 2 weeks to see Brooke. Quinn met me on my first day. Welcome back, she said. Ready to build something? Yes. I said the work was similar to what I'd done before. Finding suppliers, negotiating specifications, building relationships, but everything else was different. When I had technical insights, people listened. When I needed time off, nobody made me feel guilty. When I did good work, they acknowledged it. I helped Precision Dynamics secure not just components from Maxwell's family, but sensors from suppliers in Japan, control systems from specialists in Switzerland, software from developers in Israel. Each connection I made was treated like it mattered because it did. Brooke adjusted better than I expected. Aunt Paige says you have a big important job now, she told me during one of my trips home. Is that true? It's important to me, I said. But you're more important. That's why I come home so much. I like that you come home, she said simply. And I like when you bring me those cookies from the airplane. 6 months after Spencer's text message, Precision Dynamics launched their new automated manufacturing line. Every component was sourced through relationships I'd built. The systems were precise, elegant, the kind of engineering that makes other engineers stop and stare. Orders flooded in from manufacturers that had never heard of precision dynamics before. Industry publications started calling it the manufacturing breakthrough of the year. Quinn called me into her office after the numbers came in. "Do you know what you've accomplished?" she asked. "I just did my job," I said. "You built us an empire," she said. "These relationships you've created, these suppliers who trust us because they trust you, that's not just a job. That's something rare." She offered me a promotion. Senior Technical Director. More money than I'd ever imagined making, full benefits, a guarantee that I could work remotely from home 3 weeks out of every month. "Yes," I said before she could finish explaining. Yes to all of it. Meanwhile, Titan Industrial was collapsing. I didn't seek out this information. I didn't go looking for satisfaction, but news travels in small industries. Suppliers talk, engineers share stories. Without Maxwell's components, Titan couldn't fulfill their automotive contracts. They tried finding other suppliers, but nobody could match the specifications. The systems they produced were inferior. Clients started returning them. Orders got canceled. The automotive division was supposed to bring in $30 million that year. Instead, it brought losses, returns, angry customers, legal threats from manufacturers who felt cheated. Spencer tried to save himself. He fired other people on his team, restructured the division, made promises about fixing everything. But the damage was done. 8 months after that text message in the Munich hotel lobby, Titan Industrial filed for bankruptcy protection. Their parent company sold them off in pieces. The automation division shut down completely. Spencer lost his job. Last I heard, he was working at some small, struggling company nobody had heard of, making a fraction of his old salary. I didn't celebrate when I heard this. I didn't feel victorious. I just felt calibrated, properly balanced for the first time in years. A year after everything happened, Precision Dynamics opened their flagship facility in Detroit. I brought Brooke with me to the opening ceremony. She wore her best dress and held my hand tight while we walked through the facility. Every system on display used components I'd sourced. Every precision measurement represented relationships I'd built. "Did you really help make all of this, Dad?" Brooke asked, eyes wide. "I helped connect the people who made it possible," I said. "The engineers in Germany, the programmers in Israel, the specialists all over the world. I helped link them with people who appreciate precision work." "That's a lot of connecting," she said seriously. "It is," I agreed. "And I get paid well for it, which means we can afford MIT now." Her face lit up. Really, really, really. That night, Brooke fell asleep on the plane home. Her head rested on my shoulder. I looked at her peaceful face and thought about everything that had changed. A year ago, I was standing in a Munich hotel lobby reading a text message that called me obsolete. Stranded, scared, $60 in my wallet, and no idea how to get home. Now I had a job that valued my expertise, suppliers around the world who respected my technical judgment, enough money to send Brooke to any college she wanted, and most importantly, the knowledge that I'd never let anyone treat me that way again. Sometimes people ask me if I feel guilty, if I wonder whether I should have handled things differently. The answer is no. I don't feel guilty for valuing my expertise, for refusing to let someone benefit from work they didn't appreciate, for walking away from people who treated me like I was disposable. Maxwell taught me something important in that workshop. He said, when someone throws you away, don't climb back into their disposal unit. Walk away and let them realize what they've lost. That's what I did. I walked away and I built something better. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destruction. It's refusing to save someone from themselves. Sometimes the best revenge is choosing yourself. You're not obsolete. You're precisely calibrated for what comes next. After 25 years in engineering, I learned the most valuable specification isn't in any manual. It's knowing when a system no longer serves your purpose and having the precision to recalibrate your life accordingly.